Join the team.
Hey team, this is the McGuire Review, and today we're going to be talking about Wizkids' brand new PAPERCRAFT sets. Now, these are really cool. It's a D&D branded Icons of the Realms. We've got a couple different sets that we have here from the Icewind Dale Adventures, Rime of the Frost Maiden. This is the Lodge PAPERCRAFT set, and then this is the larger 10 Towns set, which we're going to open up right here. I went ahead and wanted to get the Lodge. It's a single building. I wanted to get it out of the box, put it together, see kind of how the build felt, how easy it was, and then some thoughts about it before we did the review. And then we'll open this one to kind of show you what it does look like brand new out of the pack. So we'll do kind of an unboxing on 10 Towns here. So it's a very simple product. There are some things that could be better. I will say that as we kind of start the review. I do highly, highly recommend these products though. And the reason is because, as you can see, you get a pretty big structure for the price point. These come at a very, very low price point. So you can check those out online. These are for sale now, but they come at a very, very low price point. And you are getting a full-size scaled building. And it's nice because a lot of times when you build your terrains, whether you're playing RPGs or let's just say you're doing tabletop combat games, it doesn't really matter what it is. You can use this stuff for any of those things. It's very reusable. A lot of times the buildings don't scale very well. Now we have changed up some of the background here, but I used to have some various different huts and things that work for the most part pretty well. They're pretty well scaled, but this is a full-size building and it's scaled perfectly to your standard D&D miniatures. So we'll go right here and we will get our bard that we always use for the scaling of our different sets and our buildings. And I'll be playing a bard here coming up this summer in a D&D series, which is going to be pretty cool. So we will continue to use our bard, and you'll see there how well it scales with that building. So I'll move it here right in the front, and you can see how well that is scaled perfectly with that building. It is designed for your miniatures to be able to go right up the stairs. Each stair does fit exactly what that base size would be, and you can move that miniature all the way up the stairs. Now, the insides of these are done as well. So if you wanted to get into the inside of this building, these little tabs here would simply just push out. They're not locked. They are on there tight, so it's not going to jiggle around and really go anywhere. You just take those tabs off of the roof here, and you can just set your roof to the side, and then you can get right into the inside of your lodge as well. And the whole inside of it is done up as you build it to have, different levels you can set your miniatures on. You can go up and down these staircases that are right here. There's even a little pocket back there. You can put some things or take miniatures. There's a seat. There's a little ladder that does come with it where you could set that ladder. There's a doorbell. You can set that ladder right up there and then use that to climb up into this other area that would be right up into here where you can get a miniature up inside there as well. So, it's really cool the way that it's designed. You've got interior as well as exterior look to, if you're setting up an entire landscape, you might want to probably use that exterior all put together. If you're doing something where it's just, a part of your adventure that might be inside the lodge, then you can pop off the roofs and actually dive inside the lodge, which is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and we'll put the roof back on. Actually, I think you do this piece first, and I'll show you how quick this goes. You'll just find these little tabs that are on here, and you push that in. Just get each one of the tabs. You don't have to be like overly careful, but you don't want to force it because it fits perfectly as it's designed. You feel like you're forcing something, you're going to bend a tab or you're going to break something. But I have found, through building these, they're really sturdy because there is a few points in the build process where you're going to find that it doesn't feel like it's really fitting right, and it kind of has to be sort of worked in there how it's built. Even with sort of kind of twisting and getting everything in like it should be, and I mainly discovered that when I was, or encountered that when I was doing sort of this inside piece here, this platform with the staircase that goes down one of the sides. I felt like, oh no, I'm going to end up, I'm pushing too hard, but it ended up being perfectly fine. There was no problem. And you can just see how easy it's designed. These roofs they're designed to come off really easy. So, and there you go, and it's all back together for the lodge. Okay? Now, if we look at what we got in the pack, you will get a single piece of instructions. The lodge was just a single front side, and it does show you sort of all the different ways that pieces should be bending and snapping together. So that's nice that it shows you that, as well as the instructions to go through each one of those assembly steps to put it all together. The one thing that I did find from a review perspective, and maybe it was just me, but for the life of me, I can't determine how else it would have been. So here on these sheets, there's a few different things you'll want to pay attention to. So there are these numbers, and this is one of the things that I think, this is one of the reasons why I think some folks have really struggled to figure out when they've built these. I've seen some of these things where they literally just put it together right on camera. You want to make sure on only one side of this, and this is how it'll be. It'll all be folded up and everything will be in these pieces. On one side, it has the numbers. The numbers are not on both sides. So if you're just looking at this side and popping things out and then being like, okay, where is these larger numbers that are on here? The 10, the 7, the 9, the 8, the 15, the 24, where are those? You want to make sure that you're looking at the side that has those larger numbers, because those are going to tell you which one of those pieces you need to put it together. Okay, it's on these sides. So that's one set of numbers you're going to want to pay attention to. The other set of numbers you're going to want to pay attention to, and you're not going to be able to see this, but on every single tab and on every single slot, there is a number. And the tab number will match the slot number. And those will not be the numbers that correspond to this. These numbers here are just the actual piece numbers that are to be used. But when you get all the right pieces and you're putting them together, you're then going to want to look for the tab number and the slot number that works together. So it'd be 55 and 55, or 25 and 25, or 10 or 10. It's always the same, and it'll go right together. So that's kind of the trick that you need to know. And I had a little bit of frustration when I started because I was just looking at this side and not this side, and I didn't see these larger numbers, and I kind of felt like I didn't understand what the numbers were on here, and then I was just using the pieces and trying to look at the picture. Once I saw the little tiny numbers on the tabs and the slots, then it became like, oh, well, here you go, right? They all just go right together. But that's one thing that I will call out from a review perspective. It might be good to have the printing of these numbers here on both sides so you don't accidentally do that like I did. Okay, so that's how it's going to look, and I went ahead and kept all these. So for the lodge, it was made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there were 6 of these pieces inside that all had the pieces. You'll just kind of fold it out, and you'll pop everything out of there that you need. Okay? So that's how it's going to look, and it's going to work inside the box. Now, the only reason that I would see potentially keeping, I would throw everything else that's inside. The only thing I would see maybe keeping the box for is if for some reason you wanted to build these and then break them down, like deconstruct them. And you could do that, by all means, you could definitely do that. I don't know that it would make sense. I was looking for the bard. I was hoping I didn't leave them trapped in there. I don't know that it would make sense to do that. You definitely could do that. But after you build it, and it doesn't take that long to build it, but after you build it, I don't know that it would be, I don't know that I would be crazy about like, okay, now let's break everything down and put it back in here, and then let's build everything back up when I need it. I mean, it's all due to the space that you have, but if you do have like a closet or some shelving and you want to get a few of these sets and just kind of set them up there and they're ready to go, that's probably the best way to do it. I would think that if you were just, I don't know how I could say to the longevity of the piece, if you were building it and breaking it down and building it and breaking it down, I don't know how long those little tabs would last, because they are paper. They do fit together very tightly, and obviously the more friction you're constantly putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for something like a roof. right? Because it does sit in the weight of the gravity and the angle of how it's sitting on here. It's not going to affect it. But I'm thinking more towards the build of some of the things inside of this unit, as well as how it connects to the base and all of that kind of stuff. You just may run into some wear and tear if you're, building it up, breaking it down, building it up, breaking it down. So something to think about if you were thinking about these products, if that was something that you had in mind of like, oh, I would just set it up when I would want it, and I would break it down, put it back in the box. You definitely could do that. I'm sure it would be fine. I've never tested it or done anything like that with it. So this is another thing I wanted to call out and something to think about if that's kind of how you would want to use this product. Okay, so we get into this larger one here. Now, this one here, the 10 Towns Papercraft set, and it's probably going to shine off the light there, but this has got 3 different buildings that are included in this one. So this one's going to have 3 buildings. This one only had 1 building, obviously, so it's a much larger set. We're going to get the sleeve, which I've removed. So the sleeve is over here now, so we'll get that out. And we will open up the 10 Towns. I'm actually really excited about building. I'm really looking forward to this one. I wanted to build it, but I did want to kind of open one of these right on camera and not have it already built. So let's put this up for safety purposes. All right, perfect. Now we got this out. It does indicate ages 14 plus. Do with that as you wish, but the box does indicate age 14 plus. Again, it's extremely easy to put these together if you know what numbers to be looking at. Now, it will come in the box completely shrink wrapped, like wrapped together in one piece, which I thought was a good packaging as well, because as you know, if anybody's watching this that is not an RPG but plays a lot of board games, which is the board game review channel essentially, so hopefully you do, you'll know that when you put a lot of these sheets together with chits or different things and you get them out, if they're not wrapped like this, some of them will already be popped out, some of them will already be falling all over the place. So it's good if they did this so you can see exactly which piece goes where and all the numbering of those pieces. So everything is wrapped up, and then you'll have your instructions on the top. Now I am going to open this because I want to see if this is a double-sided instruction set or just still a single-sided. It looks like it's double-sided. So get this. Yes. So it's full double-sided. I think you can do like this. Let's see. It's building number 3. Okay. So it's each one of the buildings. So it has same thing at the top there. It's showing you how everything, is folded. Glue and scissors are not required. That's another thing I will definitely call out. You don't need to glue this in any way, and frankly, you should not, because they are designed, as we looked at earlier, for those roofs and those things to come off, so you got an interior experience as well as an exterior. So, don't glue those together. The only thing that I could say, if you might want to glue it together, is the very base tabs to the base of it. And I was actually thinking about, I'd probably have to do that. For this one that I built, it's connected actually really tight. Like, again, you really have to kind of push to get those tabs to snug up in there. The tab is actually just a smidge bigger than that slot, and it's a good tight fit. So it's something to know as well. Building number 1 is the inn. Looks like the inn has the same thing, interior and exterior experience. The inn looks like it does have a swinging opening door and window, which is pretty cool. So it's got the instructions there to build the inn. Seems pretty straightforward. The apocryphy is the next one that we have, which looks really, really cool. Same thing, interior and exterior setup. Those look to be a little bit more open from the inside of the experience, where this one's got like the multiple platforms, the different areas, the benches. This has got a little more detail from an interior experience. And then the last one here, building number 3, is a residence. It again has an opening swinging door. Looks like they all 3 have opening working doors, which is pretty cool. And I love the theme as well. Another thing that I will call out from a review perspective with this, and I wouldn't say this is I wouldn't say this is anything against them, and I think the imagery on the box is, well, outside of this one. So here's where I think I'll call some things out. And here's where I'll make sure you understand that you know what you're getting. If you look at the back of the box here, you'll notice that there are not any icicles hanging down. You'll notice that it's just a straight standard looking building. Now it is a 3D render. It is not a picture of the product. That's something to understand. This is a 3D render of what this looks like. It is not an actual physical picture of this product. So in this picture, it will look like there's a little bit more three-dimensional lay to the roof and the snow that's on the roof. Obviously, the artwork and the print jobs that are on these is done really well. The artwork is high quality. Everything looks really nice. It's done really well. Okay. However, it does produce sort of a three-dimensional look here. And I did initially think, well, maybe this is all paper and then these are like plastic pieces, like 3D plastic pieces to give a little bit more, three-dimensional depth and look to this piece. It is not. It is all just paper like you see here. Still looks fantastic. Artwork still looks really cool. Just something to know if you're looking at this package that this is a 3D rendered print and picture. It's not a picture of the actual PAPERCRAFT. The same thing that you'll find here on this one. It's got some little icicles, little clear icicles that are hanging down from the edge of the roof here. And the same thing with kind of the three-dimensional snow. So could they have done that? Yeah, sure. They could have made the whole thing, paper. They could have added in these little plastic 3D pieces that would have snapped to the roof to give you the snow dimension. They could have added in little plastic icicles to snap onto the edge. But all of that would have raised the price point and the cost of this product, which the point of this was really to keep the price as low as possible and give you the best scaled experience and quality that you could get for the money. And I think they nailed that. They absolutely nailed that, because this right here could easily be a $25 or $30 price point if they would have done all those other things, where you'll find this in the mid-teens to the low teens for a product like this. It's a very low cost item, so I definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it. Okay, so we can see the 10 towns open and what that looks like. And again, this is what you're going to get. Each one of these is going to be in a layer. You're going to pop those out and put them right together. And you can also see that they are pretty thick pieces. That's how thick the actual cardboard is, if you can see that, and how thick those pieces are. So they are pretty thick pieces. We'll pop out just one of them here to show an example. They're pretty thick cardboard pieces, and they also have a little bit of fluff. They're not just a piece of cardboard. They're two thin pieces of cardboard strapped to what appears to be somewhat of a like padding. So they are thicker, kind of got a little bit of a squish to them. That helps them sort of not just crease and crack, and it's going to give you a lot more longevity with those things as well. Okay, so very high quality, great job, Wizkids, on another, I feel like is another innovative product, bringing to the market to do RPGs, to do tabletop gaming. I mean, these things are reusable for about anything that you want to use them for. These are branded for the Dungeons & Dragons Icon of the Realm Icewind Dale Frost Maiden campaign. So if you're interested, check them out. Hit that like, click the subscribe below to join the team. Keep rolling them crits. This is the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time.